Okay, so welcome to the week ahead report for the 9th to the 15th of October 2023. This is getting recorded during our last Venus in Leo evening. So enjoy. Okay, so now this week is a cracker. So as you can see, Venus has finally moved into Virgo after 16 weeks, which included her retrograde journey. We're out the other side, and hopefully, as as Venus moves ahead, you are taking with you all of the lessons and retrograde stories that she had to offer for this retrograde period that we've just finished. We got to stand in the throne rooms of our lives, really, and to observe and pick and choose all of the things that we were willing to accept in our lives, the things that made us sparkle, and then also let go of the things that no longer served us. So now when we're moving into Virgo, we have Venus in a much more practical position where she's able to discriminate and analyze her life and just move forward in a much more grounded and resilient manner, like a lot of the myths throughout the ages. There's always goddesses and gods that go in for a journey to the underworld, and just like Joseph Campbell's the hero's journey, we all have to go and face certain parts of ourselves in order to rise above the fear that we have in our lives and move forward stronger and more resilient. All right. So today at 12:11 p.m., Venus moved into Virgo. Thus, the last 16-week journey is over. All right. So another thing that means for this, or for the next 15 days especially, is that the sun in Libra is now being ruled by Venus in Virgo rather than Venus in Leo. Okay, so we have an eclipse on Sunday. So coming up to a south node eclipse here, as you can see, and we've just had Mars go over that south node. We're looking at our relationships in a much more analytical manner. Now, at the same time, we have the sun coming up to oppose Chiron, which is getting closer and closer to the north node, and that's going to be in maybe a couple of months. I'm sorry, I can't give a specific date right now. But all of our wounds, all of the trials we've just been through, and all of our realizations are laid bare on the table in front of you. All right. So in the next 2 days, because it's exactly 2 degrees apart, we have to make decisions based on not only what is good for us. All right. So in addition to all of this, Venus is opposing Saturn. So the sun in Libra is being ruled by Venus, and she is opposing Saturn. Okay. So there's not a lot of analysis. There's a lot of practical measures that can chosen to be used. But like connecting all of those things together, what the hurts are. What are you going to do with them? Um, the Mars South Node. It's all about the relationships we're having right now. And are there lines that were crossed? Are there things left unsaid? We still have Lilith here hanging out with Venus. We've that was okay. So it's still actually, that's too wide. But the other day we had Lilith has obviously moved because we had Lilith opposite Saturn. Anyway, that's regardless. Have you said the things that needed to be said? Are you able to restructure the stories of your subconscious and make them work for you? All right. So, Saturn in Pisces retrograde has had us looking back at all of our old foundations and stories in life. Venus, yeah, Venus, she can just be much more discerning now with the things that she's allowing to follow her through in life. Okay, so that was pretty much, oh, this is just for today, by the way. So yeah, that was the 5th of June, so a 5-month journey pretty much of our Leoness. And I hope that moving forward your crowns are on your head straight and true, and you can now change out of those robes that we've been wearing into a nice simple cotton shift and get out in the garden. So okay. Let's go on to Tuesday, since this still is the week ahead. All right. So tomorrow, Tuesday the 10th, the moon moves into Virgo at 11:02 p.m. So we still have the moon in Leo for all of the day. Now, Saturn is Venus is opposing Saturn at 4:44 p.m. So this could feel like relationships being hard work. Now, Leo has been in our face for quite a while now. So with the moon in Leo, are you feeling that emotional connection? Like, moon in Leo, our emotions we want to be adored a little bit as well. So are you feeling are you being made feel special, basically? Are you up on the stage of life? Are you being treated the way that you should be? All of the fresh Venus lessons that we've just been learning, are you still feeling those? All right, because Venus opposition Saturn, relationships feel like hard work. All right, so this is a time where you can critique and analyze. So keep up with the work that you're doing. And if you don't mind muting, guys, I could just still hear some noise in the background. Thanks. Okay. So tomorrow morning, being Tuesday, there is some tension around in the air. All right. So make sure that okay, so all, like I was saying for yesterday, and the Sun opposition Chiron, all of the reasons are out on the table. All right. So if you're feeling like that, there are some hurts that need to be spoken out, so some balance can be found, then you might think that finding a solution that is good for everyone is the best option. And really it is, but an even better option is to do what's right for you and what feels best first. All right, because Saturn opposition Venus as well still can be quite manipulative. You might feel like you're being pressured to do stuff. So there's just that as well. All right. And another thing that I wrote for the end of that one is to examine if the weight that you are carrying is actually worth it. All right. Again, relationships and balance. Saturn in Pisces, we have these old, outdated ideas. Pluto in Capricorn, rewriting our internal structures. Saturn observing all of those old subconscious narratives. Just this is for tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. 6:25 p.m. But we've got Lilith, Moon, Libra opposing Saturn. You know, like speaking those old emotional stories with discrimination can that might sort of help you sort of highlight those old stories. And we're still working with those things. I mean, Mercury wants to find balance. Mercury is connecting over here to Hygeia just wants you to have good mental health, and and making sure that your well-being is, thank you, is first and foremost in your mind. So going back to yeah, it's all good to find a solution, but make sure you're doing what's best for you first, and not feel like you're being pressured into doing something else that because someone else is like, oh, I think that this is probably the best way forward. And don't think that just because we've done all this amazing work that those people pleaser tendencies aren't going to just sort of pop their head back in. It has been a long journey, and it has been some amazing lessons, But some stories take a while to die or to change or to, it's, you can't rewrite. I mean, you can, but you can't exactly rewrite a whole novel in a short period of time, So we're still going to be working on these same issues, and it's Venus, in 8 years, this story is going to repeat itself again. Um what are you going to make the next iteration of this look like? All right. So, we're still finding balance and we're still seeing all the stuff, but make sure you're acting on your own best interests first. Okay. So, I'm just going to pause recording. We'll resume recording. Resume share. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm going to move forward to Wednesday. All right, Wednesday. Oh my God, guys. Okay. Now I am quite excited about this one. Maybe a little bit, a bit dark there. But anyway, Pluto goes direct. All right. So we're looking at Wednesday, the 11th of October. Pluto goes direct at 12 p.m. So I'm just going to go forward and go, look at that. As Pluto starts to come up and cross the horizon, Pluto is going to go direct. All right. Now, with any retrograde, all right, so we've just had a season of all of the planets being retrograde, and all of that work is just internalized, and we're all like thinky, and Pluto is going direct, and it is literally like the cellar door is open. All right. So all of the work we've been doing is going to come out. Okay. So I've written that everything that you've been doing is going to start emerging to be looked at and worked on in the real world. All right. This is, we're in October. We're in Halloween season, in October, when the veil between the world is at its thinnest. We're so open and receptive to spooks and ghouls and all the rest of that stuff. It's a Scorpio time of year. We go down deep. But Pluto has opened its doors, or it's facing us now. And so there's some, there's always going to be work to be done, but we are now scrutinizing the things that we've done. Okay. So Venus has brought up all the stuff, we're now looking at our relationships. Pluto is doing its thing. Venus can now analyze the work that she has been doing. Okay. So we want to scrutinize them with logical analysis rather than emotional hurt. All right. So Virgo's definitely not an emotional sign. All right. It's not quite like Aquarius, which is emotionally detached because they see the bigger picture in such a vast way. Virgo is just like, let me think about that first before I overreact. All right. So this is how I would love, if you do have stuff coming up for you, to just observe. Don't go to instantly emotional hurt. I mean, we've got the Sun opposition Chiron. The day Pluto goes direct, guys, like those hurts are going to be in your face. You do not have to react like you've just had your butt hurt. Like you can, you can definitely detach from the emotion of it, because with this much stuff going on, it's preordained. For me, I look at this and I'm like, if it's there, it wants to be looked at. All right. Sun opposition Chiron. Something that hurt you as an individual from a partnership, more than likely. All right. So, and in partnerships, there are two individuals, so there's always going to be dark work done, because, love comes from dark places. Love does bad things. Love, oh my God, it can trick us. It makes us feel sick. It makes us feel wonderful, and I guess, like, our childhoods, our parents don't ever mean to hurt us intentionally. And, if they do, is it because that's their story and that's what happened to them? At what point do you just go enough's enough? I was having this conversation today, like, when do you break a family tradition? You know, um, you know, when you're in a partnership with someone, you're dealing with their childhood traumas as well as your own childhood traumas. And so let's bring a couple of traumas together and see if they can have a party. And Pluto's like, oh, I'm totally in on that. Let's talk about this stuff. So depending on the strength of the relationship and the honesty that you can express, there is actually, some work that can be done here. Like I said, the moon is in Virgo. Observe, don't dive into an emotional state. So okay, so that was Wednesday. Anything else on Wednesday? All right, so we're coming up to, we're still like 7 degrees away from Mercury coming to conjunct the sun again. That's going to be amazing. So the cogs are starting to turn. Venus and Mercury are in a mutually receptive state. Mercury is in Venus's sign, and Venus is in Mercury's sign. So our hearts and our minds can work really well together at the moment. So again, going back to, don't just jump in emotionally straight away. Okay, analyze, decipher, um, you know, ground, try for, alternative practices as well. We don't want to just be losing our minds at this time. Okay, get outside, ground, breathe, drink water, eat good food, do all of the natural healthcare practices. Venus in Virgo, man, she's totally up for a beautiful cup of tea at this time, rather than when she was in Leo and all she wanted to do was drink champagne. She's totally up for tea now. So we can do this, guys. We can do this. There might be a shit ton of stuff on the table, but you can do this. All right, just keep that stress down and analyze in a logical fashion. All right, so as you can see here, also this is for Wednesday. Mars at 29 degrees of Libra. Oh my god, I am so excited for this to take place. All right, so okay, I'm going to move forward to Thursday. So 3:04 p.m. on Thursday. I'll just go to the morning first. We've got Mars at 29 degrees of Libra. This could actually, all right, so just thinking back to all the shit that I just said about Wednesday, Mars at 29 degrees of Libra could instigate a lot of fights. All right, so maybe the hurts on the table and the truth coming out with Pluto going direct could be quite a tense time in relationships. Saturn is, we've had that Saturn opposition making relationships feel like hard work. There could be arguments happening. We're getting closer and closer to Sunday's eclipse. And like I was saying this morning in the Lifetime to Level Up, if you are working on the issues right now as the days are going on and letting that release valve just come out bit by bit, just like a pressure cooker, you turn that knob to let the release out. So, every time there's a word spoken or every time situation is spoken about and dealt with in the most respectable way possible, because like I said, there could be some volatile emotions around there. I believe that it's just going to make Sunday just that little bit more easier. All right. So a South Node eclipse, we are releasing things. All right. South Node equals toilet bowl. Shit is leaving you. All right. So on Thursday, when Mars moves into Scorpio, planet's going home. It has been since May to July of 2022 that Mars has been in a detrimental position. Well, not detrimental, but it has not been happy since then. Our planet of vitality has had its own retrograde cycle in Gemini, and that just did our heads in. If you remember that broken record, and then so it went from obviously in Aries, it's ruled, to Taurus, where it's like, yeah, I'll do some hard work. Gemini, which was just a messy head place for a lot of people. Cancer, where he was a bit of a suki lala. Leo was pretty good, but he wasn't like in any exalted position. through to Virgo, where he was just as difficult because he was so finicky on all the details, through to Libra, where he was just like, again, in detriment, so he doesn't have any strength. And finally, he's home on Thursday into Scorpio. So hopefully a lot of us are going to get our vital energy back again. Also, it's quite a horny place, you know. There's although Venus in Virgo is a little bit more aloof, all right, whereas Mars is going to get his testosterone back again, all right. So just heads up on that one. Now on Thursday we have the moon in Virgo trine Uranus in Taurus. So you know, I'm going straight to and with Mars in Scorpio, be careful of tummy upsets. All right. So with Venus in Virgo, just make sure that you're keeping up with as clean food as you can. Like I said, when I was talking about alternative health practices, it's so much. Anytime anything goes through Virgo, you know, we've really got to watch our diets. Venus rules our hormones, and Virgo is our food sources. All right. So, you know, if you are starting to have a funny tummy, or, you know, when Mars moves into Scorpio, that is our bowels. All right. That is our bowels. So just watch for, you know, your toilet habits, because it might be a food irritation from the heat of Mars in Scorpio, and also Venus in Virgo and her demanding that we have good food. All right. So just be careful of that one. Now, okay. So in the words I wrote, watch for burning yourself on things that have already burned you before. All right. How can you navigate something without setting it off? Use your wisdom, use your experience, try something different, or don't go near it in the first place. Okay. So, definitely those considerations, especially since it is a Libra new moon eclipse. All right. So volatile emotions in relationships. All right. And it is about the details. It is about the nitty gritty. It is about the things that you don't want to let go of. Man, when Mars moves into Scorpio, his passion is going to be aroused. All right. So South Node's already triggering things off. You know, Pluto's now direct, all of the things that we've just spoken about. And that the moon trine Uranus at 8 p.m. You know, it's a sensory thing as well, you know. So you know, changes in circumstances if you're not comfortable. You know, the Jupiter moon, you know, we definitely could still have the awareness about what it is that's upsetting us and making us feel uncomfortable. So just, you know, this is for Thursday, just heads up for that whole day. And I'm going to go forward and have a look at Mars at home. I'm very happy. All right. So Thursday. So yeah, so look at that at 3:30. So even just looking at that right now, I'm like, the afternoon could be quite feisty. All right. So coming up to that trine to Uranus, where things can shift and change in a minute. Just again, watch the words all week this week, guys. Watch your words. Okay, so let's go forward until Friday. All right. So Friday, let's just go forward a little bit more when the moon is in Libra. Okay, so the moon moves into Libra at 11:22 a.m. So here we are. It has started. Okay, so pretty much lunchtime Friday, the moon is giving off the eclipse vibes already. I mean, it's not in the morning. I mean, this is lunchtime. It's not yet conjunct Mercury or the sun, but the moon is there. All right, so we are emotionally connected and engaged in our relationships, and the whole week is full of stuff, as you've just heard for the last however long we've been talking, you know. So just heads up. Like I said with the Mars one, you know, how can you not get burnt by something you've been burnt by before? You know, you're going into this eclipse with a very solid awareness of, you've just had Sun opposition Chiron. You know what the hurts are. You know what the issues are. You know, Pluto is now direct. You've been doing the work, and it is just coming up to be dealt with. All right. So South Node eclipse, let the universe show you what it is that you need to release, and release it. You know, the harder you fight to keep things, the more you're going to get burnt. So, you know, if this is a heads up for you, then, you know, take it as forewarned is forearmed, because that's exactly how it is. So I'll just have a look at the words that I wrote. Okay, so we've got Moon in conjunct Saturn at 1:10. So there you go. So that is hard work in itself. So if you're feeling delays around lunchtime on Friday, then just breathe, because they could be very fortuitous delays. All right. We also have Sun conjunct Mercury. All right, so it's still 5 degrees. I mean, it's working. Our cognition is just tick and tick, 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 tick. All right, so logically, you know why things need to change, but letting go of an idea is sometimes the hardest thing that we have to do. All right, so if you're in that position where you're like, I don't want to let go, well, again, the universe is showing you what needs to be worked on or let go of, and the more you resist, the harder it's going to hit. All right, you have everything you need in front of you to make an informed decision. What are you willing to do, and what are you willing to work towards? All right, so, you know, that imaginary line that I keep talking about during Venus season, you know, there is a line, and to find balance, you've got to know what that line is for you. You know, that's enough. You just got to know what your own line is. All right, so and going back to the other day, you might think finding compromise is the right way to go, and it is, but finding what's good for you and what feels good is better first. Okay. Okay, so Saturday. Let's go forward to Saturday. Okay. So, now Saturday we've got some big and fast hits all day on Saturday. All right. Where do you find balance in your mind? All right. So we've got the moon, Mercury, Sun. You're feeling it, you're thinking it, and then it's in your face. Okay. So make adjustments to your life by using what you know to be true. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and challenge those that need it. All right. So, okay. 11 a.m. So the moon is like, you can see how active it is on Saturday. So first of all, it is trine Hygeia at 11 a.m. All right. So do what is good for you first. Then it is in conjunct Jupiter. All right. You may feel like you want to do all the things and make a grand gesture, but it's not the way to do it. It's, you know, using your understanding is going to be a better point of adjustment than just making a bold statement or a gratuitous act. All right. So we want to just reel in, and just, you know, think first. All right. So after that, we then have the moon conjunct Mercury at 8 p.m. And then there's an opposition to Chiron at 10 p.m. All right. So, man, there's just going to be stuff all day. Adjustments are required. Do what you need to do for your own well-being first. So this is for Saturday, and it's pretty much all day, because the new moon being at 5 a.m. on Sunday. All right. Now another one. The other day went for, was it maybe Wednesday or whatever? I was talking about good food, especially if you get any irritated bowels, because Mars and Scorpio rules the bowels. All right. So irritating food going in Taurus. All right. So Jupiter in Taurus has a love of sweet and carbs, whereas Venus in Virgo, who also rules the small intestines, she just wants good food at this time. All right, so just be careful. Again, there's another indication of also kidneys. All right, so if I've got a note here, kidney pain, are you feeling pissed off? All right, so all of these things, they're heading towards irritating, an irritating new moon. All right, so if you're not speaking the words and you're starting to get kidney pain, That is your body going, you're pissed off, say something. All right, so just be careful of that one. So lots and lots of water as well. While everything is in Libra, you need to also find your water balance as well, which I am being a hypocrite because I haven't drank enough water today. But anyway, let's move forward. All right, so that was for Saturday. So I'm not really looking forward to Saturday night. The pub is going to be flat out, and there's going to be a lot of drunk, angry people. So there you go. All right, now it's Sunday, guys. All right, Sunday. I'll just get to the new moon. Let me go back because... All right, so 21 degrees, and there we go. All right, guys. Okay, so unexpected. I'm just going to go to the grid. All right, so we've got new moon conjunct the sun. Awesome. Usually a time where you do magic and ask for intentions. Do not do that now. Right? You do not put your crystals out. You do not ask for things. It is a time of releasing. All right, so as you can see, the sun and the moon are in conjunct Uranus. Change will happen whether you like it or not. So you are better to find that point of adjustment and go with it, okay? Pluto, we have the sun and the moon square Pluto, all right? This is crisis and transformation. With the Uranus aspect there, it could be totally unexpected, all right? We still have the opposition to Chiron here. You know, we've got all of the stuff that is on the table is, the opposing the North Node. It is showing us our potential. It is showing us what could be done, but we have to release stuff. All right. Those hurts are there. Can you forgive and forget? Or do you just need to let go and then move on? All right. So this is totally up to you. My opinion of the matter means nothing. It is your line to know what can be crossed and what can't be crossed. Okay. So let's go back to, all right. So, it's a Libran new moon. Venus is in Virgo. All right. We need to be analytical, and all those cards are on the table. Can you see a pattern? Mercury, obviously Mercury, which is ruling the Venus, just wants balance and equilibrium. But, all the rest of the stuff there is going to be some harsh truths coming up from Pluto. Adjustment is required. All right. It's going to be very feely, that also goes for that pissed off feeling, anger is also held in the kidneys. So just make the adjustment that is required, and the adjustment requires you to let go of things. That's it. The South Node is the thing that is in conjunct Taurus, all right, Uranus in Taurus. So just do as best you can, guys. All right. At least Mercury is applying to the opposition. All right. So you are able to, things are unfolding for you. All right. So, the sun and the moon are separating from that opposition. They have seen the stuff. It is now Mercury applying to the opposition. So you are able to think through these things. Okay. So by the time we get up in the morning, and I'll just move this forward to say 9 o'clock. All right, the eclipse would have started. Lilith here at 29 degrees of Leo, she can be very, very loud. So you still have the opportunity to get these things off your chest. She moves into Virgo at 5 p.m. Right now, we've been talking about her a little bit. So, the things that are said in Leo at 29 degrees of Leo as opposed to Virgo, there's going to be much more heat and hard words in Leo than there is in Virgo. So, the conversation will change considerably by the time she moves into there. So, okay. I'll just have a quick look. What has been exposed for you, demanding you pay attention and act upon it in one way or another? Be aware that things will likely go deeper and more intense as the day goes on, because at 10 p.m. the moon moves into Scorpio, bumping straight into Mars freshly at home in Scorpio. All right, so this day is only going to get more intense. Now, you know, if you are in a volatile relationship situation, then please consider removing yourself if it is too much. I mean, I'm not saying that everyone's going to, be in domestic violence situations or anything like that, but you can just walk away from things and wait for them to settle down. But like I said, the moon's going to go into Scorpio, and you might as well work things out while the moon's there, because that's the best place to deal with those crisis-orientated issues. Scorpio has a beautiful purpose. Its ruling planet, Mars, is now freshly revitalized, and its other ruling planet, Pluto, is also freshly direct. So just deal with shit this week, guys. Just do yourself a favor and just deal with stuff. All right. So I will stop my share. And thank you for watching this week ahead. I'll stop this recording.